Before we get to your scheduled video, please remember that likes and comments tell YouTube to promote our work to other people, and subscribing to the channel tells you when something new drops. You can also head to the link tree in the description to peruse my books, join us on Discord, or support us on Patreon. You can get episodes of Journey of Wrestling and Violent Profiles early, as well as a load of other treats. Even just $1 a month earns you a name drop for being cool. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show. Greetings and salutations, my fellow itchy people. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hi.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and today I wanted to talk about Ninja Turtles. So, we're doing a tier list. Rest assured, those of you who have patronized our Patreon, your videos are coming, but time is a real thing, and it's been an upheaval-y kind of couple weeks. So, we're going with Ninja Turtles. This specific list by Pot Plant Pal is just the complete. It's just the Turtles, the Aprils, the Caseys, and the Splinters.
Your heroic types.
Yeah. We haven't seen everything. And I really wanted to talk about maybe some Shredders or Karais, but I guess the internet just isn't ready for that. What the internet is ready for is Who's Cool. That includes our Trash Elite, Rob and a guy from Ohio, Passion Killer 711, Destrucity KTL, DG, Kitty Holbrook, Thomas Austin Jr., and new cool person, Drake Starstorm.
Excellent name, Drake Starstorm. That is a comic book sobriquet. That is, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So, let's rank Turts. What do you like the Turts?
I think the Turks are good. They're good boys.
Have you ever seen anything that they've been in ever?
Not as much as you, Chief, but I'm, through you, I'm pretty conversant in Turt lore.
I'm pretty bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so unprepared. We need to add F tier.
Are any of these characters in F tier?
Yeah, they've got the Next Mutation stuff on there.
Sam Riegel's upset at you.
No. That was 2003. That's fine. Sam Riegel was not anywhere near that disappointment of a film. Show, rather. So what have you seen of Turtles? Do you really remember? Did you read a bunch of the comics?
No, I was what you might call a casual Turtle fan before meeting you.
Okay.
I had seen the live action movie and Secret of the Ooze. I had seen Secret of the Ooze a lot more, if I'm being honest.
By the live action movie, you mean the 1990 film?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had probably seen the third one a few times. I'd watched some of the cartoons, the ones that were available in my childhood, and that's about it. I was like a very casual fan. I was aware of them in a these are pretty cool guys who are in my periphery sort of way. Most of the turtle watching I've done in my life was after meeting you.
I did not know that. When we met, I thought we were... these are the action figures. I just noticed. They're not the movie costumes. They're the movie... They're sitting over there, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, those are the same guys.
That's funny. I thought you were more of a fan than that. That's interesting. I never knew that.
It's not that I wasn't a fan. It's that you got to remember we met back in 2006, my guy. Like back then, watching as much of the Ninja Turtles as I had watched did make me a fan.
Yeah, that's true. Excuse me. I have seen most of the original cartoon series. I've read some of the original comics. I read all of the Archie comics. I have seen about half to 2/3 of the CGI one, 2012, I want to say. I've seen all the movies except for the one with Batman. I have started...
Which you'd think would be like a movie that both of us leap on. It
just hasn't come up.
It's an amazing crossover of our two big fandoms, but it just hasn't come up.
I recently started the newer comics, the IDW. So I actually haven't met some of the characters we're going to cover here, unfortunately. But and I watched all of the new series and Rise. 2003 I've seen some of. Not a lot. Got distracted. And I really haven't watched, except for the pilot of the original cartoon anything in like 20 years at least. Probably more like 30 years.
Scared it won't hold up?
No, it's fine. It's still pretty good. I just have had other things to do.
There's so much stuff.
There is so much stuff. But yeah, let's get into it. That's our turtle cred. Do we want to go in order, or do we want to go ahead and get the dirty work out of the way?
You know what? I do want to make one addendum. I was a big enough fan before meeting you to know Uncle Phil was Shredder. So
okay.
maybe I was a bigger fan than I remember being.
Maybe.
I mean, you do what you feel. You're taking the lead.
Let's just go ahead and get this over with. This series was awful. The turtles did not act like themselves. I don't hate the magic coming through immediately.
Man, Leo looks like he needs a sandwich, dog.
No, that's Venus.
Oh yeah, he's over there.
That's Leonardo. Yeah. Leonardo looks like he needs...
I like the different designs on the headbands. That's something later interpretations did as well, and I like that.
I don't like Mikey's cheek socks, or Donatello's for that matter. Those are a little weird. I really just don't like those suits at all.
Donnie is basically just wearing a ski mask. Mikey's wearing a ski mask with the top cut off. Leo is wearing the same thing Raph wears in Rise.
Yeah, modern Raph wears that. That's fine.
And then Raph is the only one with a traditional headband, which I find hilarious.
The characterization is so off in that series. And it's not... They've done stuff where, like, the characterization is slightly different. They've shaken it up. I'm fine with that. It's also bad.
Why did they make the girl one look like she's starving to death?
Because... I can't believe I have to tell you this, but
they
had to make her girl-shaped.
I know, I get why she looks more feminine. Why is she, like, vascular? Why is she...
She's still a mutant ninja turtle.
It's just... She doesn't look thin, she looks malnourished.
I don't know. I don't think she's a mutant. I think she's, like, magic. Maybe... I don't know.
Care.
It's really
I don't care.
Like, every stupid trope you could think of how to ruin a franchise... they went to. And I'm not that guy, okay?
You don't need to defend yourself. Watch the other shit we make.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I'm willing to take a ride on stuff, but not here. So, we are actually going to start with original April. Mirage Comics April, if you will. This is the whole Mirage Comics era.
I will.
She's not bad. I've really only read the first... graphic novel collection, the whatever they call those, and like a couple of small issues here and there separate from that. So in that sense, she's not super active compared to later versions of April. She's fine.
She's got a classy look.
Yeah, I like the curly hair. I would say C.
Brother, I have less than sugar packets about the Mirage comics. You put them wherever your heart desires.
Casey is also fine. From what I'm aware, I will say C. Now, the turtles themselves, each and every one of them is going into S tier for every entry. No, I'm joking.
That is the instinct, but I was gonna say you gotta grade them. We gotta grade on a curve here.
So I'm aware their personalities get more distinct as time goes on. They fall more into their animated series
niches,
tropes. Yeah. But back when I read, they weren't all that different. Michelangelo was a little sillier. Raph was a little more hot-headed. Donnie was a little more tech-savvy. It's really not that much. So I'm going to say, honestly, as far as turtles go, I'm going to drop these guys into the C tier as well.
I mean, they pretty much, they're where we start.
Yes.
And from here we grade above or below these guys.
Splinter, I'm going to bump it into B, but it's going to be bottom of B. I'm going to try to remember that. Splinter is almost always good. There is an exception here. I don't know what was going on there. But you know what? I'll give you you can be at the king of F tier. Yeah. So, we move into the animated series, the original one.
The first one I have any actual experience with.
And then we have Cartoon April. What are your thoughts on Cartoon April?
God. I am...
Poisoned by the internet?
Poisoned by the internet. Moving on. My thoughts on Cartoon April, like, as a kid, I really liked April and Casey Jones a lot. And I liked, I think I liked Raph the most back then, just
Big
because...
Rob Paulson guy?
Yeah, but honestly, yeah, I think it was because it was Rob Paulson and I recognized his voice subconsciously. But I think they were pretty good. These are pretty simple characters for the entirety of this series. There's not a lot of depth there.
Not really.
And
but again, these
I
are
think that
30-year-old
holds
memories.
them back from being like A or S tier, because they're fun, but there's not much there. It's candy floss. It might be delicious, but there's no substance. So I would put basically everyone from that series in B tier, with some jockeying back and forth as to placement.
Okay. I like Casey. In fact, I'm going to put Casey at the top of all these guys because he's such a departure from typical Casey. He's basically Judge Dredd with zero authority.
Yeah, I liked him a lot because he was, like, cool.
And just a nut job.
Yeah, he was crazy. He was significantly
insane.
Crazier than later interpretations. I think that's one of the reasons I'm always expecting Casey Jones to be crazier
Yes.
than he is.
Yeah. Well, and even in the Mirage comics, he was not this guy. He was not 80s cartoon, early 90s also. Here we're entering into the movies. Do you have any argument with my placement here?
No, you got it right.
Okay.
Good job.
I find it interesting that they didn't separate out Judith Hogue and the second actor who played April.
Because there was two actresses who played April, right?
Yeah, they changed her after the Judith Hogue was uncomfortable with the amount of violence in the film, and I can't remember the other actress's name off the top of my head. So they switched.
Yeah, because I don't see her later, and this is obviously arranged by series.
Yeah, they've done this in a pretty good order. Oh, you know, these are the Batman ones. We don't know what their characterization is, unfortunately.
It's probably fine, but like we haven't met them.
Okay. So all of the Aprils from the original trilogy, I think are pretty good. I think she's good. I'd say A tier.
Yeah, I like this might be a childhood crush talking, but yeah, A tier seems absolutely accurate.
In that vein,
Another childhood crush. Yeah.
Casey Jones, Elias Koteas.
Elias Koteas,
S-tier.
S tier. There's no argument here.
He's my favorite Casey.
He's
always going to be my favorite Casey.
He's so good. He's so pure.
He's the right mix of not the brightest, but like...
He's a meathead with a heart of gold.
Yeah. And he's great.
Yeah, I absolutely no arguments. I really like that Casey Jones.
All right, so movie Turtles.
Movie Turtles from the 90s live-action movies.
Yes.
I think probably all we really need... Well, all right, so first off, are any of them in a different tier from any of the others? Do we feel that there was a standout so strong that it deserves to be higher than the others or lower?
I have some complicated feelings on Raphael because of the acting. And it's not something you notice on watching the movie like once or twice, but when you've seen it as many times as I have, they hired the suit actor to play him. And he's different in the other movies, but his delivery on so many lines, they took the take where he says the line wrong. And I don't mean he says the wrong words, but it's if the line was, "Hey, how are you doing?" He says, "Hey, how are you doing?"
I see. I like movie Raph a lot.
Well, I do too.
He's got a very unique personality.
That's the only thing that would make me place him different from the other three. I think Donatello is a little undercharacterized, except for Ooze.
That's fair, honestly.
But otherwise, I think this is a solid bunch. I think Mikey and Raph are the standouts. Although Leo's pretty good here too.
So what tier are we putting them in if they're all going in the same tier?
I would say either A or B. If they're all going in the same tier.
Well, do we maybe want to put Raph into B because of those reservations you have?
We can do that.
And then the rest, I feel it goes probably Mikey, Donnie, Leo.
I'm going to say Leo, Donnie. I really think Donnie's undercharacterized.
Being undercharacterized is better than being like an annoying shit.
He's not. Nowhere near. Look, I put him in the bottom here because he is the worst version of Leo. Is in the comics. Is in the or not the comics. The 90s 80s cartoon.
Leo has a variable amount of Cyclops disorder.
Yes. And I feel like that is its fullest. He is the stop having fun guy. He's not as much that. He really cares. He's very disciplined. And these are the things you see carried over into other most iterations of the character. That his brothers kind of lack.
Hey, I'm not going to fight you. You're the expert here. You in this case are the final arbiter of placements.
Make an argument for Donatello. Hit me.
It's really not an argument for Donatello. It's an argument against Leonardo.
I see. Okay.
It's not that I think Donnie's really good. It's that Leo annoyed me. But I was a little kid at the time.
Sure. Yeah. When's the last time you watched the film?
I don't watch it yearly like you do. So probably a few years ago.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. He goes into S tier. Yeah, there we go. Splinter.
Specifically, the original movie Splinter.
Original movie Splinter is he's great. He's the mentor character. When I think of the mentor, the wise mentor, I don't think of Dumbledore. I think of Splinter.
He's a good one. That's a good version of Splinter. The best, I would have to say.
There's another one I really like, but we'll get to later.
Okay. So we're into the 2003 series. Like I said, I haven't quite watched a season of this.
Yeah, I've got I think the entire first season of this under my belt, and that's it. This is another one I watched as a kid, because in 2003. But like in 2003, I was starting to become a teenager, so like brain was interested in other things at the time. So I think I tuned out of this after about the first season.
I was a little too old to start watching it, and I had TV access complications anyway. So
I don't know that I ever met Casey Jones from this series. Is he in the first season?
Yeah, I'm almost positive he is.
Then he did not leave much of an impression.
Him or April, neither one.
April left more of an impression on me. She was more self-possessed than movie April, and I remember that being fun.
I agree. She felt very bland to me, very two-dimensional.
That's a fair criticism.
And maybe that's just because I haven't watched the whole series. You know, I'm willing to accept that. But this is our list, made it this time. So, where would you slot these guys? Where's your heart telling you?
I feel like these are another C tier.
C tier, okay.
There's nothing particularly wrong. I know you. The meme in our household is that you do not like this series on account of they say "what the shell" all the time.
Mostly Mikey, and Mikey's actually I think it's because it came out in 2003, and here I am. If I have these years wrong, I'm sorry. Here I am watching this as an adult, because I only picked this up a couple years back. And I'm a different person than anybody was back then. So, like, he's not edgy or cool. He's a douchebag. He's, like, I understand why Raphael wants to kick his ass all the time, because he does not shut up. He doesn't know when to keep his mouth shut. Those are two different things. And he says the most annoying things he can. I had friends like this. Back then, I didn't like them then. Friends, quote unquote. Now, he's still, he's a hero and he does good stuff. I'm not trying to hate on Mikey. C tier sounds fine to me. Who do you think leads this pack?
Well, also, just want to get it out there, we're grading on a curve, and I'm looking down here. There's not a lot of D tier material that I'm looking at.
There you go.
Well, I was going to say maybe go put him back where he belongs.
All right.
He's the king, but he is that king. There's an argument made to put these guys in D tier just in relative terms compared to the other material, sort of thing.
I don't know that I'd go that far.
That's fair. I just wanted to put it out there as an option.
I think I remember really liking Donatello, and not just for his way more famous now voice actor. I remember Raphael was pretty good. Honestly, I think part of the reason I stopped watching the series, kind of fell off of it, is this characterization was just really rough. Splinter wasn't bad.
So in that vein, if it's C tier, I would say below Mirage.
Okay.
And in the following order.
Okay.
Donnie. Probably Casey. Leo. Raph. April. Splinter. Mikey.
Okay.
Any
So this is tough because the Mirage series is very classic, but these guys might be better characterized from Jump Street.
And if we need to mix and match or put them above, I'm fine with that. So, this is just my initial placement offer.
Let me suggest here. Yeah, he was pretty good. What about that? What do you think
I have no
that?
problems with that. That is absolutely fine by me.
Well, we just moved them around for those of you listening instead of watching.
They're all still in C tier.
They're all still in C tier. Yeah, okay. Now, I might change my mind someday, come back to this. So this is interesting because this is the CGI movie characters. And those are a continuation of the original trilogy. That's technically in canon, or supposedly, with what happens there.
They get to punch a lot more people in this movie.
It's been a long time since I've seen this film. I want to say I saw it twice. This is one of the best focuses on the storytelling and the rivalry between Leonardo and Raphael that they've done.
Yeah, I agree. I remember really liking this movie back when we watched it.
They were both being kind of stubborn and bullheaded, but it was really quality. Do you think putting them above the original trilogy?
Well, all right. So it's a continuation. It's in canon. It's in continuity. We like it better. What do we? Do we like it better? Do we like these characters more?
Okay, so I've watched the original movie every year for the past 5 or 6 years.
And you haven't done that with
I have not seen this since it was in theaters.
So what does that tell you?
I probably don't like them better, even if the story was better.
So, I don't know...
Honestly, a lot of that, too, is the overstory. The weird mutants coming back from Aztec past, future. Patrick Stewart.
Who knows? In that way, I would say if we feel like mixing them in, that's fine. For me, April and Casey are at the bottom of wherever we put them on this list. I remember functionally nothing about April and Casey from these movies.
You know what? I'm going to... They just had a mediocre love plot. I'm gonna...
That explains why I don't remember.
I'm gonna drop them in D tier. They're gonna live in D tier. They're so forgettable.
I remember nothing about those characters in these movies. I
remember she was, I think, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
And I think she had a slightly more active role.
Yeah, she wasn't bad, actually. The more I'm thinking about it, I'm going to put her right here.
But, Karai was way more of the, lady sidekick in these movies.
All right, so we said Leo and Raph had better characterization. Do we think they're better than original Raph? Probably.
I think. You say what?
Probably not, given how fond you were of him.
I don't think I would, but you are less fond of him than me. So.
Well, I think that's fine. I think maybe we put them here. In fact, Raphael does a little better. Mikey and Donnie just kind of wash out in this film.
They're fine. They're fun. They're not bad characters, but they're not rememberable. So I would say middle of the pack C tier.
Yeah, let's maybe drop them. You had some fondness for April, so let's drop them below there. This is in no particular order there. Look, I know y'all love whoever that guy was, Mako, the guy who gives you weird eyes.
Yeah, Mako is a bonus. There is a level to which you can bring that guy down that I will fight simply because Mako is the voice actor.
He was barely in the movie.
I said what I said.
So, where is the lowest I'm allowed to put him?
You may put him in C tier.
Okay. I will go ahead and put him in C tier.
There you go.
Nothing wrong with him. It was just a side character, barely. All right, so this is the IDW series. This I don't think you have any experience with.
Literally none. I've never seen a single frame of it. This is the first time I've even seen drawings from it.
I have not yet met, I believe her name is Jenica, and this is the Venus from that series. I'm aware they're better than Venus's original interpretation, but I'm just not familiar enough with them.
Why Venus? Why not any of the female Renaissance artists?
What a great fucking question.
That's actually really bothersome to me.
Welcome.
You know what? Move on. I'm going to be in a hole on this. I'm going to look this up after the podcast.
This might be... What the... They don't have the Archie series on here.
They don't have the Archie series, huh? But they got the IDW series. That's very strange.
I'm so triggered. All right, these guys are the Archie guys now.
You've decided?
I've decided.
Okay.
Raphael has some of the best Raphael characterization there. This is probably the best version of Leonardo. The other two, you can go. He's fine. He's fine. Donatello is a little better, so you can go there. Okay, cool, fun, awesome. Those are the Archies. Archie April, she goes somewhere in A tier, I think. Not quite S tier. Archie Splinter, probably an A tier as well. I don't remember much of Archie Casey. Was he even in the Archie comics? He had to have been. They might have done more Mutanimal stuff. Anyway, yeah, that made me really mad just now. Moving on. IDW April so far, I really like her. I think she might be my favorite April. This is where they drew a lot of inspiration for the Platinum Dunes movies. So April is a scientist. She was partially responsible for naming the turtles and worked at the lab where they were made.
That's where all this shit that everyone got mad about came from?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was like, they made it up. Why is April their mom or whatever? Everyone on the internet was mad. Turns out, Michael Bay just was taking from a lesser-known comic series. You guys are all fake nerds.
I thought her characterization here was really good. Again, I'm only, I don't know, the first year and a half, I think, through the comics. I have all of them. It takes time to sit down and read them. So, yeah, I'd put her pretty high. I don't know about S tier, but I think top of A. I think she's really cool. Casey is also a really good Casey. It doesn't sing with me, so I'm going to drop him above the movie Aprils. So something I like in the IDW comics is that they pass off a lot of the Raphael-Leonardo rivalry to Leonardo and Donatello, because they are both the smartest members of the group, but in different ways. Donatello is an intellectual. He is better with machinery. Leonardo thinks with his heart. And so they butt heads a lot because Donnie's always saying, well, I'm the smart one. And Leo's like, hey, fuck you. But Leonardo's very spiritual. And Donatello's like, you can't prove that with science, my guy. Let's not make decisions based on your fantasies. It's really good. And
I mean, that sounds like a fun dynamic. Where does that leave Raph?
Raphael was gone. You know that meme you see all the time on the internet? Well, you guys might not. I know he has. Where Splinter hands the turtles their bandanas and he just doesn't give Raph one.
And then Raph gets the default, yeah.
It's because the way they explain why they were all wearing red at first is they were all wearing Raphael's favorite color because he was missing from the group. When they first got mutated, he went somewhere else. He got separated from them. So until they found their brother, they were wearing it as like a badge of unity to never forget him. So when he gave them their individual masks, Raphael already had his. And when he rejoins the group, it's really cool to see him re-enter the family dynamic. There's way less friction than you'd expect. He is best friends with Casey. They go out fighting all the time. They're bash bros. He's still hot-headed and stuff, but it's more of a clash with everyone in the group than just Leonardo so far, anyway.
This sounds really cool and based.
Yeah, it's I'm really, like, there's... Ironically, okay, I'm opening the door on some personal crap here. I wrote a Ninja Turtles fanfiction, like a couple of chapters, years ago, before I read these comics, and now that I'm reading these comics, wow, they are so similar. I imagine people were reading that fanfiction and going, this idiot just ripped off the IDW series. This isn't interesting. So, I mean, obviously it's to my tastes. But yeah, I would say these are pretty well characterized. I'd say at least as well characterized as the originals. Mikey's got such a strong character there. Here is where we start to see also a lot of Mikey being the sensitive one, which is something they've taken and run with in the more modern incarnations.
Which I think is a good call.
I agree. I don't think it
gives
resonates...
him more dynamism than just being the jokey one.
I don't think it resonates as strongly. You know, I don't put Raph with Casey just because
they're
bros. Yeah. Splinter here is complex. I think... Man, where to put him? He's more dynamic than original cartoon Splinter. He's better than Casey. Let's be real here. He's conflicted. And he wants to do what's right for his sons and pursue a path of peace, but they live in a violent world. He reminds me a lot more of Professor X here.
A good way for a Splinter to be.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting take, and I'm really excited to see where it's going. So, all that being said, let's go to something else you have watched, which is the, I believe, 2012 CG series.
Yes.
The Return of Rob Paulsen.
The Return of Rob Paulsen. He's back, baby!
What do you got? I talked a lot just now. Hit me with your opinion.
April was fine. I remember her being a more entertaining character. She had more going on. But much of the series was about the boys, and I don't know that I got to where Casey is.
No, I don't think you did.
So I have no opinion on Casey. But in terms of the boys themselves, this is not peak Donnie. Peak Donnie is actually in a series I haven't seen. But this is pretty close to peak Donnie. This is a good Donnie.
Is the main character of this show.
Yeah.
And that wanes as time goes on, but for the first couple of seasons, he's really at the forefront. His little crush on April is really big. And it's not, like, gratuitous, but it is how it shakes out.
Yeah. This I think, is probably like an A-tier Donnie. This is peak Donnie. Peak from what I've seen.
Do you think he's better than original film Michelangelo?
Yes.
Okay. Do you
I have no opinion.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Let's drop this April there.
I'm perfectly happy with that.
Fun and interesting and closer to this April in terms of an active role and being part of the group and all, but not quite there.
That makes sense.
So Leonardo in this series, what do you think about him?
I don't remember him being super hateful.
No, he was the one who was like, guys, let's stop fucking around. But not to the extent of let's never have fun.
Well, they fucked around more.
They did.
So
absolutely.
The turtles in this series, the parts of it I watched anyway, are much like younger seeming. They seem more like rookies than in previous iterations that I had seen. So they fuck around more. So Leo has more of a reason to be like, no, stop it. We're doing important shit here, guys. Can you lock in?
I liked him a lot, actually.
I did too. I think of these guys, Mikey's probably my least favorite of these three, but like it's a very close race and they're all pretty close to Donnie, but they're not in the same tier. They're not like peak.
Do you think they should drop a factual tier?
I don't think a full tier,
okay.
No.
So do you think they're better than movie Michelangelo?
I think I'd put them above movie Donnie.
Okay.
But below that Raph, I don't know. So in that little slot.
This Raph you don't know?
Yeah.
Okay. This is movie Donnie.
Yeah.
They can't go above movie Donnie and below that Raph you don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I swapped those around.
Okay. So, in between these two.
Yeah, in between movie Donnie and that Raph I don't know.
All right.
Probably in Raph, Leo, Mikey order.
Yeah, Raphael had a lot going on. I liked Mikey, but I'm not going to argue with this. Once again, this is more exploration of him being more sensitive, more having a bigger heart instead of just being the goof off. He is still the goof off here. It's Beast Boy voicing him. So
the funny thing, yes, it absolutely is. You would, I think, that make me more fond of him. The thing is, like, this is going to be a general theme. Mikey's usually my least favorite turtle.
Really?
It's usually a pretty close race, but like Leo, for all that I bag on him for Cyclops disorder,
it's really just the original cartoon Leo who it gets that way. And I think it's because it wasn't literally, but technically speaking, thematically speaking, it was a Saturday morning cartoon. You needed somebody to be the grown-up whose pants are bigger than he thinks they are, or vice versa. But
like, for all that I bag on him, he has at least usually a very storied rivalry with Raphael, which makes the character dynamic and interesting.
And they do explore that again here.
Yeah. So Mikey ends up kind of left out in the cold because Donnie's my favorite in most iterations for obvious reasons.
There is a version of each series where a different turtle is my favorite, except for Leonardo. He never manages it.
He got pretty close in Rise.
He got very close in Rise. He's pretty close here, but the brothers are so... There's so much better a unit in the newest one, the Mutants Unleashed. It's hard to separate.
Now, this is going to be a hot take. 2012 Splinter, for me, S tier.
Really? Okay.
I fucking love... I fuck with 2012 Splinter so hard.
Do you think he's better than the original? The original movie?
No.
Okay.
But he is still S tier.
Where would you want to put him?
I'm perfectly happy just adding him to the existent. He can be bottom, that's fine.
Okay.
He feels like a dad. And and he has that same Professor X vibe at the same time.
I wouldn't rate him quite as high. He would almost definitely be an A tier. But this is our list, not my list. So, all right. Now we also have seen both of these movies, the Platinum Dunes live action-ish ones. April here is a lesser version of the IDW April. I still like her. I would have cast someone different, but Megan Fox did a good job.
But this was the era of name casting.
Well, and it was a Michael Bay produced film,
so she's gonna be there.
She's gonna be there.
I love that was all inspired by actual comics and you were all fake nerd boys. That's amazing to me.
It's still...
Because I didn't give a shit.
Every new iteration of Turtles that comes out, back when I was on Reddit, and I saw 2 new ones come out in that amount of time, they hate the new version.
And then, well, I think it's the same thing that happens with the Star Wars prequels. All the original fans hate the prequels, and then all the kids who grew up on the prequels grow up, and they love the prequels and then hate the new thing. I think it's just that over and over and over again.
It's that, and whoever is the fan wants the edgiest version of the Turtles possible. I don't know why. Because I see way more people who love the 2003 series.
Because it was edgy.
Because it was edgier, yeah.
Guys, back off from the edge.
Which, ironically, the IDW series is pretty edgy. They swear.
Go read that.
Yeah, it's really good.
You know what? I am asking too much from edgelords. I'm asking them to read. So, I don't care where we put Green Arrow.
Yeah, he can go into Bland Casey Zone.
Yeah, Bland Casey Zone.
On the off chance that was Freddie Prinze Jr. because this one was
that
Sarah
was
Michelle
actually
Gellar.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. Well, we like him better anyway, so yeah. All right, so movie turts.
Movie turts. Donnie again. Donnie Peak, Donnie Best Turtle. I don't think any of these turtles belong in S tier.
No, I don't think so.
But we're Michael Bay turtle movie fans in this household. Just in case that wasn't clear, I like these movies. I think they're fun.
Flawed, but fun.
Yes. In terms of order, I would. Tier is arguable so long as they're all in the same tier because they're all about as good as each other. Mm-hmm. I would put them, these guys, I would put Donnie, Raph, Leo, Mikey. But the order is...
I'm fine with that. I think Raphael gets a lot of human moments where he shows weakness.
He has the big,
it's nice.
I think, it's Leo, or it's Raph in these movies, who has the big, conflict about wanting to maybe be human in the second movie.
I think so. I mean, he's the one who shows his love for his brothers and gets really vulnerable. And it's often played for comedy, but it's really nice. I'm trying to figure out where to put them. I don't know that they're better than original movie Raph. I don't know that they're better than any of this stuff. Probably better than that case.
My instinct says high B, low A.
You think better than original movie Raph?
No, I think that's about where they belong.
Okay. I'm going to make an argument for Raphael over Donatello. Donatello didn't have that much characterization, didn't have that much development. It was just sort of... He was a really good Donatello.
That's understandable and accepted.
Okay.
Know that in my heart it's not the same, but this is our tier list, not mine.
So I'm going to say maybe just below April for Splinter. Just below A tier April.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the best Splinters.
One of the best Splinters. What do you think keeps him from S tier? Because he has that cool scene where he beats ass in that.
That's so awesome, but I don't... And I love Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub is a great great actor for this role.
But I don't know. There's just something about him that's not...
It's not quite over the top.
No.
And that's fair.
I don't think...
Because I don't disagree. I just don't know why.
I don't think there's as much... let me tell you this. I'll say this. If we were rating purely on depth of character and like detail and storytelling, this Splinter, the IDW Splinter, would be above him. But he has so much heart. He has so much soul. He is so beloved in that way. I think Tony Shalhoub lends his kindliness as an actor to the role very well. He doesn't quite have the same dad energy as either of the S-tier Splinters.
You need that.
Yeah.
For an S-tier Splinter, you need that dad energy.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm sitting. Okay, Rise, which I've seen way more of than you have.
I've seen a couple episodes of this show.
I watched this whole show.
And then a bunch of clips that he sent me.
And the movie. So we are going to go ahead and put Donatello in S-tier. Jesus, Casey? Yes, absolutely.
This is peak Donatello.
He's the best. He is... so good. And you know what? We're going to put Leonardo right there as well, because he's only outshined by Donatello. These are some of the... at first, I was a little behind on this series. I was like, I don't know. It's way more comedic. It's not as much like...
They went a direction.
Yes.
It's very different.
But especially, the more you sit in it, this is one of those shows, not that, after the first season. No, the first season's fine. But, like, the more you sit in the show, and the more episodes go by, the more you really love these characters. And Donatello and Leonardo, for me, are way up there. I like April a lot, too. I would maybe put her... I'm going to say here. Do you have any argument with that?
I have no argument with that, wherever you place any of these characters.
This Casey is barely there. Where's let's put him here.
Does he go into Bland Casey zone?
No, he's just literally barely there. He's like, I think he's only in the movie.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
This Casey, we're going to put her next to what is probably her inspiration. Where is Crazy Casey? Oh, there. Well, I got to put her above those other Caseys. And that Mikey. Yeah, I think that's fair. She's over the top, very angry, works for the foot. She's great. Rise Raphael is probably my least favorite. That isn't a Next Mutation Turtle.
Mm-hmm. Just not a big fan of him at all.
He's the heart of the team. He is the leader in this series. He takes that job very seriously. He becomes a very soft dad in that sense, especially because Splinter is strange in this series. And I like that, and I think he's a good character, but he lifts right out in a lot of ways. He fades into the background. He's very protective of his brothers. He's good. I like him, but like in terms of strength of character and...
He just doesn't hold up.
He just kind of, washes out a little bit.
Where's he going?
Bland
Casey zone?
Bland Casey zone. It's not a bad idea. You know what? I'm going to put him between Splinter and April from 2003. Mikey, I like a little better. Do you have any thoughts on this, Mikey?
No, dude. I've seen like 2 episodes of this. I have no opinion.
Okay. Let's say right there above Girl Casey. And Splinter here is a very interesting character, has a very interesting arc. He's very funny. He does some really cool stuff as the show goes on. In the spirit of this, we're going to put him there. Between original cartoon Splinter and...
what we've decided
is Archie Donatello.
Yeah.
All right. Last set. This is from...
the newest thing.
The newest stuff. Mutant Mayhem, Mutants Unleashed, whatever it's called. Mutant Apocalypse.
Mighty Mutanimals.
Yeah. No. Well, kind of.
Yeah. Most of them are there, dude. I've seen the movie.
The series is very Mighty Mutanimals energy. I think they even called them the Mutanimals at some point, which I marked out for. I, in general, like April. The first episode of the series, I was less fond of her. She's very...
I haven't seen the series. I've only seen the movie.
She's very Gen Z humor, and that's okay, but, like, I'm an old man, so it was like, oh, okay, I've heard these jokes on the TikTok. But otherwise, I think she's pretty good. Do you have any thoughts on her?
From the movie, a good central point of view character to bring you into the world of the Turtles, and a good character to like bounce information off of. I'm without seeming like a flat audience XP. Like, I don't like it when that happens. I would put her probably. I don't think A tier. I think probably like B tier around the Bay movie Turtles, somewhere in that zone.
Okay. All right. That seems about right. Any arguments?
No.
Okay.
And what about the boys?
What about the boys?
This is honestly my favorite Mikey.
This is where he is the sensitive guy, the most well-rounded.
This is where I feel like this is where they've really nailed the distillation of the good version of Michelangelo.
Yeah,
I really like this version of Mikey.
He's sweet, he's optimistic, he likes to see the best in everyone, he doesn't go to violence first. He's not as much of an artist as the Rise Mikey, but he does have the artist's soul in that sense. And he's not as much of a goofball as other Michelangelos, but he is still having fun.
Well, it's because his responsibility of being the goofy one is lessened by them all being much bigger goofballs than in the previous version.
Yeah, Raphael's a lot more of a goofball, too. He takes a lot of that weight. All right, so where do you think you'd put this Mikey?
I would put... So scroll up.
Yeah.
We've only got the one Mikey left, and I've realized we have no S-tier Mikeys. Does he deserve to be the S-tier Mikey? Or are there just no S-tier Mikeys?
He's not my favorite version of Michelangelo.
Then do we need to promote a version of Michelangelo, or are there just no S-tier Mikeys?
You know what? With that logic in mind, I would suggest promoting original movies, Mikey.
That's fine, and then he can take that guy's slot.
Okay. That was there?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
And then the rest of these guys I'd put pretty well near him. I like this movie.
Yeah, it was really good.
Not maybe right next to him, but nearby. And then for the rest of these guys, I don't really have like a huge order preference. This is all a pretty flat tie. Mikey is honestly a pretty flat tie with the rest of them. He just stands out by being my favorite version of Mikey.
Is that a better Splinter than that Mikey? No. Okay. What about that? Does that speak to you, Mikey, Leo, Donnie Raph?
That absolutely is fine by me.
Okay. I don't hate this Raph. He's just hard for me to grasp. I think I got more out of this Raphael by how he voiced Splinter in the second half of the new series. Because you can't get Jackie Chan, and they did original cast only.
Yeah.
So Splinter had taken like an oath of silence at first. Well, an oath of speaking only in the bug gibberish. And then in the second half, Raphael's telling the story. So he's doing Splinter's voice, but he's doing like a Batman voice.
That's good.
It is really good.
It's a really comedic contrast with the actual performance of Splinter by Jackie Chan. Okay.
He's our last one to put.
It's time to close with a hot take. Jackie Chan is the only thing that keeps this from being F tier for me. I don't like this character.
Okay. All right.
Now, there are two units here. One is as a character in the movie that I watched. Perfectly serviceable, funny, comic relief character. As Splinter, upsetting.
I see where you're coming from with that. He's more of a plot device than a character. I mean, he's both, but...
Like, as a character in the movie, he's fine. If I'm just rating that character in that movie, separate from my understanding of the characters in previous media, trying not to be the new thing sucks guy, I would put him probably in, like, C tier, fine comic relief character, doesn't really do anything important or useful.
He was very important to the movie.
Yeah, you need him there.
So I am going to suggest that. Right above Dearest Mako.
For the same reasons.
Because he is really important to the film.
Jackie Chan does a good job, and this character is very important to the movie. as a Splinter, he is basically everything I don't want Splinter to be.
And he begins to grow a bit in the series, but it's a little. So, you know, and you've missed all of that. So he's basically still a wet blanket by, you know, at your point.
And a good Splinter can be a wet blanket. There's a time for that. Not like this.
All right. Well, do you have any final thoughts? I'd love to do another Turtles tier list in the future with other characters, but those are actually hard to find. I might have to make it myself. But do you have any other final thoughts?
I only have a final question.
Okay.
Pick 4 Turtles and a Splinter from S tier. Do you actually think they make a good unit?
Well, the 4 Turtles we have in S tier.
Because we've got, let's see here, 2 Leos to pick from, which is funny. There's 2 S tier Leos.
Ironic, yeah. As much as I...
It's just, when he stands out real good. But we've got Rise Donnie, pick your Leo.
That's technically Archie Raphael.
Archie Raphael, original movie, or 90s movie, Mikey, and 2012 Splinter.
We got both Splinters.
So yeah, pick your Splinter also.
Can they be a good team? I mean, Donnie's doing super science, so that's set. That's fine. We already have a Leonardo that's a goofball. And we have a Michelangelo that's extreme goofball. I don't think it's a good idea to have both. I think you want the very noble, honorable warrior that is Archie Leonardo. Archie Raff is fine. He goes off on his own a lot. He's got a lot of emotions.
And he gets to hang out with Elias Koteas now.
Sure. I think I would actually, to shepherd that team, I would go for the 2012 Splinter. He's more responsible.
Yes.
And less frail.
Much less frail. He's thick.
I don't know if that's necessarily what I would just like pick natively, but I don't know, it's pretty close, I'll be honest with you.